Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Maduhu wasta'inuhu wastadihi wastaghfiruhu wa umminu bihi jalla wa ala wa la akfuruhu wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Arsalahu bil huda wa dinil haq liyudhhiruhu ala ad-din kullihi wallahu karihal mushrikun. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help, His assistance, and His guidance. We believe in Him and do not disbelieve in Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is His servant and messenger. Allah sent him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, the religion, the way, the methodology of truth. And this way of life, known as Islam, will rise to its proper position in this world, whether the mushriks like it or not. Amma ba'd, فَإِنَّ أَصْدَقَ الْحَدِيثِ كِتَابُ اللَّهِ وَأَوْطَاقَ الْأُورَى كَلِمَةُ تَقْوَى وَخَيْرُ الْمِلَالِ مِلَاتُ إِبْرَهِيمَ وَخَيْرُ السُّنَانِ سُنَّةُ مُحَمَّدٍ sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وأشرف الحديث ذكر الله وأحسن القصص هذا القرآن وخير الأمور أوازموها وشر الأمور محدثاتها وأحسن الهدي هدي الأنبياء وأشرف الموت قتل الشهداء وأشرف الموت قتل الشهداء وأشرف الموت قتل الشهداء وأما دلالة بعد الهدى وخير الأعمال ما نفاء وخير الهادي ما اتباع وشر الأمة أما الكلب. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said the most truthful of discourses is the book of Allah. The most trustworthy word is taqwa. The best of the community is the community of Prophet Ibrahim. The best way of life is the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The remembrance of Allah is the most glorious of all things. The best of all narrations is Quran. The best acts are those requiring the highest degree of will and determination. The worst acts are those based on innovation. The best way of life is the one adopted by the prophets of Allah. The most glorious death is the death of the martyr. The most wretched blindness consists of going astray after finding the right way. Best guidance is that which people may be able to follow. The best acts are the ones that yield benefits. The worst blindness is the blindness of the heart. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna Allah yahmuru bil-adli wal-ihsani wa-ita'i dhil-qurba wa-yanha anil-fashai wal-munkari wal-baghi ya'idhakum la'alakum tadhakkarun. Allah commands justice, the doing of good, and liberality to kith and kin. He forbids all shameful deeds and injustice and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. فَمَنْ يُرِيدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Those whom Allah in His plan willeth to guide, He opened their breast to Islam. وَأَتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast or hold on all together by the rope which Allah stretches out for you, and be not divided amongst yourselves. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nasi ta'muruna bil-ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. You are the best peoples evolved for mankind, joining what is right, forbidding what is wrong, and believing in Allah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. لا تركبون طبقا عن طبق. You shall surely travel from stage to stage. I'll continue. Whether then the matter with them, what is the matter with them that they believe not? And when the Quran is read to them, they fall not to prostrate. But on the contrary, the unbelievers reject it. But Allah has full knowledge of what they secrete from their breasts. So announce to them a grievous penalty, except to those who believe and work righteous deeds. For them is a reward that will never fail. So, we went through this a week or two ago, a couple of weeks ago. La tarkabuna tabakan and tabakin. You shall surely travel from stage to stage. One of the best commentaries that I was able to find on that was something Khutbah said, that you shall certainly ride stage after stage. That is to say, you will pass from one stage of suffering to another, to what has been predetermined for you. The Quran uses the term ride to denote the undergoing of various stages of suffering. Ride is frequently used in Arabic to signify the passage through risk and difficulty. This usage suggests that difficulties and risks are like horses or mules to be ridden. Each one will take the riders the stage predetermined for it and for them. Thus, each one will deliver them to a new stage, which is again predetermined, in the same way as the universal stages, that is, the twilight, the night, the perfect moon, are predetermined. They will eventually end with their meeting with Allah. I want to read part of this again because this is kind of the whole encapsulation. You shall surely ride from stage to stage. One of the commentaries translate the same way. You shall surely ride upon event after event. In other words, you will travel, you will ride this struggle. Tabakin is like a vehicle. Here they use horses or mules, but it's like a vehicle. Challenges in your life are vehicles to take you from one level to another. Most people want to avoid challenges, right? They want the easy road. But, now this is addressed to humanity, but it's addressed directly to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That your life is a series of events. Each one of those challenges carries you from one level to another until each one of those events, each one of those rides, each one of those things got a number on it. Some of you drive buses, right? And that bus ride, that number tell you where the bus is going. The struggles that you and I encounter in this Western world, right, are just like signs on a bus. That ride is going to take us stage after stage, event after event, till we reach our predetermined destination. I want to mention a little bit about this predestination. I don't want to change the subject, but see, we know that the Qadr of Allah predestination is part of our deen, but people mistake predestination. They visualize predestination as something that Allah has written for us, and we got to do that. Now, here's the real essence of that. Foreknowledge. Allah put us in this environment. And Allah knows that we have, for any decision, we may have 5 points of references, 20, we may have 50 choices we can make for one thing. Now Allah already knows what choice we're going to make, because Allah knows everything. But you're put there, you in that historical moment, year, period of history, are making your own decision. And let me go over that. You and I are making our own decisions. Allah has already written, this brother here don't go that way. Why? Because Allah knows everything. So that's what it means, it's already written. That Allah wrote, you don't even know how many decisions. Allah then gave you 500 choices, 20 choices. I gave him all these choices. He took that. Allah wrote the one. The choices, see in that book, the choices you had are there. You don't even know all of them. You know a few of them, right? But Allah wrote. So it is written by Allah that you took that choice. But Allah didn't make you make that choice. You made it on your own. Now, so when this says, and Sayyid Qutb is one that is qualified to write these statements. Because in history, all great Islamic workers and prophets, they had their specific challenge at their time, right? Musa alayhi salam had Pharaoh, he had other challenges. To try to wake up a people who've been dead for 400 years, right? Who their whole life, everything had been directed toward Pharaoh. So that's a challenge, but his main challenge was Pharaoh himself. That was his challenge. That was his time. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the 300 idols in the Kaaba, the Quraysh and their power and their authority, it might have been his specific challenge. Right? But it didn't happen overnight. Allah took him stage after stage. Right? Lifetime over lifetime. Event, ride after ride. Can you see what the Quran is saying? These events, one of the translators, you shall surely ride upon event after event. The event is the reason for your evolution. We always know it, right, in sports. If you got this team we're going to play, we got to really get down to beat them, right? So we see what we got to do in order to achieve a level of perfection, in order to excellence, to face that challenge. We can see what the obstacle is. In life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all some abilities and some Actually, we have a mission. We have a destination that we're going to reach. You know, there's a dua. It says that nothing can change the qadr of Allah but dua. But technically, it don't change the qadr of Allah, because Allah wrote in there that that person was going to make dua anyway, and so he was going to fall off a cliff. But he didn't fall off a cliff, because Allah knew it. He wrote he was ready to fall. He was 1 foot away from the cliff. Then he made dua, or his mama made dua for it, and he didn't fall off the cliff. Allah wrote in there already. So never mistake. Some people mistake statements of hadith. Nothing can change the qadr of Allah but dua. That's true. But the truth is that Allah wrote in there that the guy was going to make the dua. But he didn't know it. His mama made the dua for him, and she gives it credit to the dua, which that's what deserved it. But Allah already wrote that she was going to make the dua. Now let's get back to, you shall certainly ride stage after stage. That is to say, you will pass from one stage of suffering to another. I want to say another thing. Once you get super close to Allah, those challenges may not be suffering. Yeah, they may be challenging, but a challenge don't always mean suffering. After one struggle comes ease. Umar radiallahu anhu said that technically after one struggle come two eases. You don't know how many eases you got coming after one struggle. You see? So, you shall certainly ride from stage after stage. That is to say, you will pass from one stage of suffering to another, to what has been predetermined for you. What's been predetermined for you. Now, can you have a good destiny? Can you let people divert you from your destiny? Can the shaitan divert you from your destiny? The choices, I mean, of destiny. That destiny, I'm not talking about the one that Allah wrote, that you're going to make that choice. But in life, we face all kind of, am I going to get high with everybody else and eventually get hooked, right? That's our choice, right? And if we start that getting high and certain other processes, there's a road, right, that goes along with that. We know if we get to messing with that dog, that haram, we're going to lose our family. We're going to lose our job. All our money is going to float away, isn't that right? And we're going to be in bad shape sooner or later, unless we got an extremely good job and we like Ray Charles, we can afford to stay high, and it becomes like a tonic or a medicine. Like white folks used to always, when they get home, they'd have 2 scotches on the rocks or something like that. But your stage, I mention that because I'm going to show you the same picture I've been showing you for the last 200 years. Y'all remember this? I'm saying this because this is me and you here. Conference focuses on how social invisibility of African American Muslims lead to psychological trauma and suffering. There's a big meeting in Baltimore that the brothers had. Of course, they didn't invite us. You can imagine why. The Islamic movement in America started in our neighborhood. First it was semi-misguided, not semi-misguided. You know, noble al-Alim now, then the lamb without spot or blemish, and the crew, of course, we was part of them, so we understand the history. And for absolute darkness, it was like a candle in absolute darkness. But if you stand out there now with a candle at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the daytime, people will think you're crazy, isn't that right? So if you take that the black man is God and the white man is the devil in 1963 in California, that's fine, because you was the darkness out there, right? Yeah. But if you do that now, you will be considered stark, raving mad. You will be considered stark, raving mad. The daddy, when was the daddy of God? The daddy, and you know who the father of God is, Alfonso, and baby G is the mother, she beast. Y'all didn't know that, of course. You didn't know that God had a mama and a daddy? Well, we found out in '63 that God was born from a white woman named Baby G. You see how the coons, boy, they fix up. Not the mother of Mary and nothing like that. Baby G, sound like a colored woman. And Alfonso, that's an Italian name, couldn't be Alfonso Capone, anybody. So when we heard that stuff, the black is beautiful, so we had been taught, what, remember, white, you're all right. You mellow, yellow, you're mellow. If you're brown, stick around, but if you're black, get back. Now here comes a religion that says, the blacker you are, the more beautiful you are. I took one look. So that's a good religion. Yeah, that's fine. Right? It just made dumb sense. Now, then we came to the Sunnah. The destiny kicks in that America is in desperate need of Hidayah. But the Negro movement steps back and give the mantle of the Islamic movement to the immigrant community. I want to re-explain for the 500th time about the different methods. Islam in the early days was like a natural movement. So if you take civil rights, Dr. King, black nationalism, black liberation and all of that, and then you come to the Islamic movement. Many of the brothers in the nationalist movement evolved to Islam. They evolved. They rode from stage to stage properly. They moved from level to level properly until now we have inherited the liberation struggle in America, the Muslims. And that was for a while, and then the government comes and breaks the back of the Islamic, call it Islamic liberation movement. That's what we call it. And at the meantime, the immigrant community is coming here. Late 60s, by the 70s, they're here. By the 80s, it's starting to pick up. 90s, boom, boom, boom. By the 2000s, it's big centers all over the country. The Muslims were here welcoming the immigrant community. But there's two visions. The immigrant community came here to integrate into America, right? They came here to be a part of America. The people of color want to change America. Because we've been hanging on the end of a rope all the time here in America. We're being shot by the police here in America, right? We're mass discrimination and no responsibility of the state to you and I. Our rights, our freedoms, and the Constitution is a rag for you and I. right? Okay, the African American Muslim always wanted to improve and change America. The immigrant community gained power. We're going to try to speed up. They have authority right now. When the white folks want to know something about Islam, they don't call you and I anymore. They call the immigrant community. Why? They got big symbolic masajid all over America, and today in the masajid, they are not paying any attention at all to what's going on in the Muslim world. Well, I go to time to time. I don't never hear them say nothing. But the Negro, like, what's that name, guys? Sherman Jackson. Sherman Jackson and Zaid Shaka was right over there. I ain't talking about him behind their back because I've been talking about him for years. Whenever I get the opportunity publicly. Said something like, I don't remember, but the African American had exchanged the immigrant community for the white man as a superior. It was something like that, right? We was over there, we went over to Howard here. And that's true. As we followed white people before because they were superior, when we became Muslims, we exchanged, well, they're a little lighter mostly, so we exchanged them, the white man, and adopted the immigrant. Because we had an inferiority complex, we thought they knew more about Islam and you knew more about Islam. Why? Because when we accepted Islam, we snatched the Quran and started reading it from cover to cover. We got Sahih Muslim and read it all. Sahih Bukhari, read it all. We know we didn't know nothing about Islam. So in the early years, when we became Muslim, everybody had a pile of books under their arm. Remember that? Reading, studying. Technically, we knew more about Islam than they did. The only thing, some had us on the pronunciation of Arabic. And the saddest scene in last year was when we went up to, what was that, Atlantic? Was that Atlantic City? To Atlantic City. They had all the Negroes that had been overseas, right? Y'all saw the flyer. All the Negroes had been overseas to study Arabic. Now, one thing you're not going to learn overseas, just get that straight, is no Islam. At Azhar, you ain't going to learn no serious Islam because it's under a dictatorship. And since Abdul Nasser's time, right, when he lynched and killed Sayyid Qutb in '66, when he turned on the Ikhwan al-Muslimin in the 50s and jailed them all, 54, 55, and 56, right? And they helped him make the rebellion from King Farouk and them bums and British colonialism. Some would go to Syria. Zayd and them went to Syria. Now, how are you going to learn any Islam under Hafiz Assad and Bashir Assad and them people? You can learn Arabic. That's the problem. The Negroes thought that they had some mystical attachment that the more Arabic you learn, the more Islam. This is the biggest mistake anyone can make. To go up there to Atlantic City, couldn't stay there. We'll stay half an hour or so. Couldn't stay in the place. All the Negroes that had come back and learned Arabic, most of them had been a part of Imam Warithuddin Muhammad's community. They didn't remember nothing about the history. They don't remember 1976 in Philadelphia when his greatest speech was remake the world. That's when he had vision. That we have to remake the world. They forgot it. Right over across town, right? The people have submitted to, it's a cabbie station, that's what people say, right? no vision, no mission. That means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us here in America the knowledge of the system we're dealing with and the people we're dealing with and the ability to deal with him, but we gave up our vision and mission. We gave up our mission because we thought somebody else might know better. Of course, everybody else finding out different now, right? The immigrant community with thousands of Masjid, huge, built from the ground up. They'll collect hundreds of thousands of dollars at each Eid. And they won't do nothing for no Islamic struggle. They won't even help they struggle back home because the Americans and the Zionists have told them, you can't deal with no terrorists. So if you from Afghanistan, they're scared, the Masjid over there in Virginia is scared to send money to Afghanistan because they'll say they're scared to send money to Egypt. They'll say it's Ikhwani money. They're scared to send it to Pakistan because they say, oh, they'll think we're part of al-Qaeda or some old dumb Lashkar Taiba or anybody, right? They'll say anything and they let that European tell them what to do. Our very good friends. The FBI said, I said, you give me the FBI people's name because I'm taking them to court. They ain't got no right. I said, we clean as a whistle here in America. If we was violating the law the way we act, we'd be in the penitentiary. We have freedom of speech, press, and religion. And if the FBI goes to anybody and say anything about us and our religion, then I'm taking them to court. I mean, right now, everything they've been doing for the last 40 years, we're going to drive them on into the courthouse, whether they like it or not. So, that destiny, that vision, you will ride from stage to stage. You will ride from event to event. Most people take those events and those stages as a punishment from God. This is a punishment. I want to avoid that challenge. And that's their ride. The ride come to pick them up to take them to the next day. I don't want to get in that. That ain't got no brakes. It ain't got no doors. I ain't riding in that boy. It don't have no insurance, don't have no safety, nothing. Ain't got no bumpers. I'm not riding in that. Well, when you ride in this stage, tabakin, you are not guaranteed safety and comfort. They use the word suffering. Sometimes you will encounter the Prophet, peace be upon him, you ain't no better than he is. He encounters suffering and distress. Some of the ulama been hung and man, and we just want to get by. We're losing our cultural imperative. We're losing our historical immunity. One more generation, and won't nobody have no, that stuff that came with black people, that we were just special in sports, because in slavery they raised us, you know what I mean? They're just like on the farm, you know. They studied, you know, my great-great-great-grandfather was a stud on a plantation. So that's why I know so many of my relatives, because he fathered them all. Of course, each girl at 12, the master went into her first, then he went into them to get children. But we look at our challenge as punishment. It's an opportunity. It's our ride. We are not here to integrate into America. We're here to improve America. Let me see if I can find our favorite ayat. And believe it or not, I got my normal 6-hour lecture here, but I'm gonna cut it today because it's Ramadan and I don't want y'all falling out as usual. Oh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَلَا تَسْتَوِي الْحَسَنَاتُ وَلَا السَّيِّئَاتُ أَدْفَعُ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم وما يلاقها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلاقها إلا ذو الحظ عظيم. Who is better in speech than one who calls men to Allah, work righteous deeds and say, I am of those who bow in Islam. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. What is the best speech? دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. To call men to invite people to Allah. وَعَمِلُوا صَالِحًا. And work righteous deeds. And then with all the fitna and carnage going on, we say, I am happy, I am proud to be a Muslim. We don't buckle down and make excuses about our deen. We say, no, I'm a Muslim and proud of it. Nor can goodness and evil be equal. Repel evil with what is better. Then will be between whom and thee was hatred become as it were thy friend and enemy. So there's a few words. وَلَا تَسْتَوِي الْحَسَنَاتُ وَلَا السَّيِّئَاتُ أَدْفَعُ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. Goodness and evil are not equal. They're not the same. Repel evil with good. Repel evil. This is now me and you. This is modern time. This is part of our mission. Part of our vision for America. Our mission comes right out of Quran. So what are we supposed to do? What is our mission? What is our vision for our environmental circumstances here in America? What are the characteristics, what are the conditions that we have to exist under? What do we have to show and express as human beings in our environment and according to the historical realities that we have encountered? Nor can goodness and evil be equal. Goodness and evil are not equal. Repel their evil. Repel the evil that your dear America has done to you with good. Now this is bigger than turn the other cheek. This ain't turn the other cheek like in the Bible. This is bigger. Just listen. Nor can goodness and evil be equal. Repel evil with what is better. Then will he between whom and thee was hatred become as it were a friend and enemy. Adawatun ka'annahu waliyun hamimun. Let's get directly to the point. In every newspaper you look at right now, you see what is the biggest problem for white folks? Opium. Opiates, isn't that right? More white folks dying of opium than it was me and you. 70,000 Europeans, that's just what they say, are dying every year. That's with Narcan. They said some white folks OD, remember, we ain't never had no bring you back. When we OD'd, we was gone, right? The white folks now got Narcan, and some people in OD 10 times and they come back. One guy finally died on the 13th attempt. And still 70,000 Europeans are dying per year, a couple hundred people a day are dying here in America from opiates. And what do we say? We say we want to help them. But you don't hear nobody calling us to go help. Why we want to help? Because we know about that. We know that it is the system up top that want to get rid of those gun-toting white folks. The poor white folks, they ain't got nothing for them, right? When they didn't have nothing for me and you, they get rid of us and put us in jail. They ain't got nothing for them because they're more dangerous than you and I. Them white boys got all their wealth is tied up in guns, and they feel entitled to a fair shake. So when you see all these killings in schools and all of that, that is the system. We know it, but the white folks don't know it. Take the guns. We had guns when we grew up. When we grew up, you drive down the street, they had shotguns and rifles in the back window, right? Everybody just put their guns in the back cab. Guns was the most normal thing in America, right? It's not the gun. I don't want to sound like Charleston Heston or the NRA, nobody. But guns don't kill the people. The people kill with guns. They teach them all these. It's not the Second Amendment that's killing everybody. It's the First Amendment. Freedom of speech, press, religion. You can say and do anything you want in the movies. Do you see any solution to anything in any movie? No. The one, they blow up people and they blow them across the street. They shoot them with a gun and the gun splatter blood all over everything. You remember in the old days, they used to shoot guns out of people's hands. You remember Hopper on Cassidy Dam? They shoot the gun out of here. They don't do that anymore, right? Then they could shoot John Wayne with 2 slugs, 45s right here. They'd pour whiskey on him, y'all remember that? And then they'd take a drink of whiskey. And then he'd tie a little thing around his arm and get on his horse and ride on off. Isn't that what they did? Exactly. Or 2 minutes later, he may get in a fight and throw the thing off. Now we know if you get shot with a 45, you're going to be inexorable. Now that's all they had in the West. They might have had a few 38s sitting around somewhere, but everybody, it was a Smith & Wesson or Colt 45, right? You know them big old slugs? And at close range, they blow the door off. Then and now, right? So our danger was that the kids would find their daddy's gun and they'd be playing with the gun and you'd shoot your friend, which was common. Go back a while. You found your daddy's gun, which everybody had one, and y'all would be playing with it. And if everybody got shot that had a play gun, all the kids would be dead. Because what did you get for Christmas? Cap guns. Good, you got 2 guns. Right? And as the years went on, they looked real. Now, if a kid is playing with a toy gun, they'll kill him. They'll kill him. He could be 2 years old, 5 years old. He's a death threat. It's not the Second Amendment. See, the white folks know the Second Amendment is there to protect the people against the government. You remember, America had a revolution, right? It wasn't a regular army, was it, that fought the British here? It was the citizen soldiers. It was the Minutemen. Everybody had guns, so when they called you up, everybody had a weapon. So if everybody have a weapon, the police can't oppress you. So you see all the other British colonies where they don't have weapons, they just got their freedom a little while ago, right? But Americans got their freedom 200 years ago. Why? Because of weapons. So they put it in the Constitution. The right to bear arms is a part of the Constitution. That's why they're trying to get the guns, because America is failing fast. It's going down. So when it go down, they want to be able to come get you and anybody else when they want. And if everybody is armed, like white folks, the police is in trouble. What do the police look like in the last few years? Do they look like police? Safety officers? That's what the police is supposed to be, public safety. Are they safety officers or are they in military attire? Is that heater on or is that something? Is that military attire that they wear? For civilians? What's the problem? The police now look like troops. Helmets, bulletproof vests, and all of that. They're not public safety officers. They're oppressors. Isn't that right? Okay. Now, what does this leave you and I in our mission? It says, repel evil with good. And we're talking about the people of America. Our mission is to help America become America, not the great, but America the good. And you know who our mission is? It's not only the Negro, it's everybody. And right now, the white folks is in as desperate need as a Negro because they're being wiped out and they don't know why. They don't know why. They think it's just opiates. No, the system is getting rid of them because they don't have nothing for them. And they want to break their family. They want to break their back. And they want to break their will because you can't be using heroin and no other heavy drug and think about revolution and change, can you? It was proved with us. It was proved in the Opium War in 1840 in China. Isn't that right? It's been used. The British knew what they was doing in the Opium War. Break the back of China, big as it is. At that time, it was the biggest country in the world, almost, second biggest. It was broken by the little old British Empire. Why? Opium dens. What broke the Black Rebellion? Heroin. Bam. In 1 year we was finished. No more. Nothing. 1 or 2 years, the Black Rebellion is dead. And now the white folks, opiates is killing their spirit. Now, part of our mission says return evil for good. It's not a governmental thing. We believe if you're smart, stay away from the government. Let it go down itself. You can vote all you want. It's your business. It ain't not ours. Return evil with good. In that case, the two words, hamimun, hamim means warm in Arabic, like warm water. Waliyun, wali. Technically, you read just like I did. It came from the Arabic itself. So that you and I will become their wali. The white folks' wali. Same one that's stringing you up on a tree. Yes, right? I told you, this is bigger than a turn of the cheek. For the evil and the misery that America has caused you, return good. Because that's what Quran gives you, good. You want to save the world? Save America, because the problem of the world for the Palestinians, for Afghanistan, for Iraq, for Syria, for everywhere comes from America. Isn't that right? The Zionist American rule government. Every problem we got all over the world, basically, we make a few of our own. Let's just say 80% of world problems come from America. If you and I, this vehicle Islam, that's the one, that's the ride. The vehicle, right, that's going to take you from stage to stage is Islam. You know the silliest encounter I have when I go back to Oakland? I've tried to talk to them about Islam, and all they show me, I'm going to show you a few stupid pictures. Y'all have seen them 200 times. This is Jahiliyyah. This is Jahiliyyah. Of course, it's the richest Negro around. This is almost 50 years ago. But you know what people talk about? They're talking about 50 years ago. This is a 69 Cadillac. Well, they call them Del Cavalieros. That's what the tile on the back and all that. They're kind of expensive, you know. Man, look at this big heads, don't let this shop. You know what the people talk about? That stage. That stage, that's 50 years ago. Man, you had all the tenders and all the cutie pies. Because I got a bump, you can't see that knot. That's from the police. And don't mean how rich you are, nigga, we're going to bust you upside the head. Now, this was the baddest ride in California at that time, of course. 11 channels, telephone now, y'all got telephone. But in those days, do you know how much a telephone in your car weighed? The unit weighed 300 pounds. The unit in your car, you can't see you can't even see the little antenna back there. That car had to have air ride. In those days, the car was so big, you start up the air ride, lift your car at low levels. You know, the Negro was kind of crazy. That was a stage, you know why? To help you for now. Because people can't bring you materialism. You tell them, man, this dean, y'all like that? Yeah, man. I said, this is 50 times. This dean, this is a number. It's 50 times better. The tranquility, the peace of mind, the vision, the hope is 50 times better than the best of their Jahiliyyah. And you know what? They don't know what I'm talking about. They believe me because this man, he be on his job. So he know what he's talking about. I just don't see it. He don't see it because he's looking with the eyes that the white man put in his head. Right? The Negro here, the Muslims, gave up their vision of America, of making America a better place, and turn it over to the immigrant community. And for that, all the big Negroes in here, I ain't gonna mention all their names. You know every one of them. But the Negro Muslims is suffering from, this is what they say, social invisibility. They done accepted immigrant leadership. Immigrant leadership is not bad, but it's not for us if you're going to change America. If you're given a mission, this is a danger. If you're given a mission. One of my friends seemed to have a mission, and I knew he had a mission because, you know, the snitches were saying, yeah, they're going to get rid of so-and-so and replace him with you. This is when Abdul-Alim and all of them in Oakland, we had about 8 or 10 places. They saw me as a figurehead. See, up until 2002, when we had our last conference here, national conference, As-Sabiqun, of course. Now don't worry about As-Sabiqun, I'll get back to this later. That word, that name, As-Sabiqun, we're trying to live up to it. We've already lived up to it in the past, but those passes were those stages. Strategic management under conditions of repression is a stage of our development. We've already done that. Right? To show people how can you manage strategically right under the nose of the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA and all them bums. How can you do it? How can you survive when they punch you one time and knock you out? Well, they ain't punching us no one time and knocking us out. I'm sorry, because everybody that's been here that's witnessed what? that we can show the world you can do it. You don't have to be scared of this cracker. You're selling your birthright. The immigrant community is a good community, but if the Negro is feeling social invisibility, in other words, they done sucked all the life out of you, built up their community, now they got their kids and been taught Shakeism, they don't need the Negro anymore. Now the Negro, this is what he says, we don't say that, he feels social invisibility. African-American Muslims leads to psychological trauma and suffering. The Negroes is suffering because they not needed no more. Now, of course, we told them. Y'all know that we told everybody here. We've been singing this song for a long time. We are not suffering. We have no psychological trauma at all that I know of. I mean, niggas be crazy, don't know it. You know what I mean? Everybody else said, but that is crazy. I got good sense. Ain't nothing wrong with me. You know? Anyway, the vision called people to Allah, work righteous deeds, and say, I'm proud, happy to be a Muslim. Return the evil. Now this takes, okay, we talk gangster talk, but you know what our principles are. Kindness, optimism, and humor. Y'all remember that? Kindness, optimism, and humor. It sounds like gangster talk, but that's just the attitude. You have to have a militant attitude, but militant kindness, militant humor, militant optimism. If you take crazy people for what they are, you'll be crazy yourself. Well, the girl come in here last week, a week before last, and they stole her shoes, right? Ain't nobody stole no shoes here in 10 years or so, and they was the same little old boys running around here with them, that had them packaged, you know, a 40 and the thing, and saw them smoking right in the middle of Ramadan. They just up and down the street, put sandwiches and everything. They're the ones that they got their shoes stolen here. That means they sent the shoes there and they sent the nigga to steal them. Said nobody's stealing no shoes here. We been coming right, nobody's stealing no shoes. Girl fall in last week or week before last. Somebody stole my shoes. They said, sister, we'll buy you some new shoes. I don't want you to buy me nothing. She came here for fitness. Right? That's a little old fitness. That ain't nothing. Shoot. Anyway, I'm going to move toward, you're going to think I'm lying. I'm just going to make a few statements. That is our As-Sabiqun, to go out first. They're pioneers. Pioneers are trailblazers. They don't sit around and they keep blazing new trails all the time. That's their job. They go from event to event, and it takes them on each level higher and higher. Now, the observers, or people call them snitches and informers, they observe the event, but they're not riding and they do not improve. Let me say that again, because that's, you gotta understand. It don't make no difference if an informer, a saboteur, a snitch, is standing next to you for 25 years and you are riding from event to event. He is staying still. He don't know it. He can use a little language, read Quran, tafsir, stuff like that, but he's not improving. That's the problem with the Negro. The Negro's not improving, even the tattletales. And everybody wonder, well, encirclement and suppression, we didn't beat that 2-3 times ago. But why do we like tattletales and snitches? Why do we like it? Because each group of strugglers in history have their challenge, right? They have their challenge. Our challenge is not cutie pies. Our challenge is not necessarily wealth. The thing that takes us from stage to stage is the ability to cope with and to love tattletales, saboteurs, and snitches. That's our special job. Remember, everybody get a special job. Everybody got a special team they got to beat. That's the one for us. Nobody's done that. That's our job. Allah trains you. That taking you from stage to stage, from event to event, is training you each stage after another. Never did I think back in Jahiliyyah, all this money and all that, that it was for Islam. I thought it was for what it was then, but it was to train you. Because if you come up in that, and I remember what I said the other day, the book, school-going black nationalists and civil rights people was not equal to the gangster black nationalists. They're not the same. When I went to Algeria, the first thing I did is told them, I said, man, y'all can't have no revolution like this. I say, I've been here a month, and I ain't never been up here in the security area. I say, every time I come to the office, there's a white girl hanging over the balcony with a mint julep or something. I say, y'all go down every day to the Rue de Douche Marad buying hashish. And all other liberation movements are training to go back home. Now, we're supposed to be training here to go back and take over America. I know it's a big dream, but when you're young, it's all right. Then I come to find out that the Negroes didn't want to come back here, not to fight. So they didn't take advantage of the ride. Right here, right today, our mission, I believe, is to move from stage to stage, event after event, and that's evolution. The observers are not evolving. They don't know they're not evolving. They're standing still. They think that might have been 20 years ago. They are still in the Stone Age because they're not participating in the event, they're observing the event. You observe a basketball game, do you get better? You got to go out and play and handle that ball, isn't that right? You will get better. You may do all statistics all right, but you won't play no better unless you get out there and play, isn't that right? Unless you practice. People watching the event, and this is a message for our people. This is our mission here in America, to put up with them until the cracking of their great white father, which is soon. That's the first sign. When the Negro tattletales, which are in the millions, I believe, when they switch over, that's the sign that means the end is near. The stages of decline, I'm not going to read you all this stuff because we said it. The decline is in already. When you watch the news, they go into the G7 conference, right? G7, call it G6. All of them is against America. The Americans pulled out of every, they took themselves off of every event. And in 1 year, American prestige is wiped out. Big Don is quick. We was wondering, we thought George was fast. You look at America, you see the news. You see the news, right? I'm going to put an embargo or a tariff on everybody, and everybody say, you don't do that, boss man. You done already, the Chinese is already buying all their soybeans from Brazil. Instead of us. The steel workers, in other words, when we talk about harass the system and to accelerate its decline, if y'all remember the language, the decline is accelerated. The big sign is when the internal operators of the system, the tattletales, the snitches, the stooges, the saboteurs, because that's what happened to every movement we've ever had. It's been sabotaged, diverted. The Negro has never had a chance here. That's the thing. He never had a doggone chance. Never. They just haven't had a chance. The government, as soon as they figure, oh, this nigga trying to get free, bam. And nobody was trained. Nobody had control of their nafs. Nobody had any real direction. So if it's a Malcolm, they just kill him. If it's a King, they just kill him. They just get rid of him. And the people don't know what to do, right? Except now. I move toward a close. As-Sabiqun. To go out first. To anticipate. To do or say that which is necessary before anyone can do anything about it. To turn or to duck without any reason whatsoever. Somebody's behind you with a bat. They swing the bat and you reach over and tie your shoe and the bat go by. That's what it means. A refrigerator like a cartoon falling out of a 30-story building. And you walk right here, it comes, and somebody like in the cartoons. Hey man, you got a match? Yeah, no, I don't smoke. I just bam! Now you think that's cartoons. It ain't cartoons. It's life. Allah will protect your black behind so much you'll think it's funny. You say, good God Almighty. All that for poor dear brother? And not a thing happened. I'm telling you. It's now vision. The ability to see and visualize a world that does not exist, but to have what's called strategic vision. Strategic vision is that you design a plan of action and a program and a process to develop that exact picture that you have in your beautiful mind of that beautiful world that you want to see come into action, right? And Allah gonna give you the process. That's what strategic vision is. Strategic leadership is the same thing, that you have the ability to call out of the environment the leadership skills necessary to help at that time to get people to that wonderful vision. Strategic imagination. A lot of people think imagination is dreaming. No. It may seem a little funny. I'm just going to tell you the truth that I've run across. When the white folks say in their books, anything you can believe, you can achieve, within reason, that's true. If you can believe it, now I'm talking about good things, you can achieve bad things too. We just lost the ability to dream, to imagine. My friends in Oakland, a lot of them was pretty big in the world. And I told them last time I was out there, I said, look, the only difference between me and you, all of y'all, all of us was about the same at one time. I said, but y'all accept white man's authority. You accept it. And I don't. So it's only different. So when we was all basically the same, rich Negro, pretty dressed Negro, all of that, we was about the same. But when the bus came for the next stage, they didn't take it. When the ride came for the next stage, they didn't take it. And you look around, none of our people take the ride hardly to the next stage. They stay put, they stay where they are because it's comfortable. It's a comfort zone. Okay, just a few more. I ain't lying, I ain't gonna keep you 2 hours or 3, probably an hour and a half already. And you know, when you get older, you be mumbling to yourself. Strategic self-determination. During the movement days, everybody, self-determination for the masses. Niggas got to have self-determination. We got to determine our own destiny. Shit. You know why we don't have no self-determination? Self-esteem. You know what self-esteem means? Esteem means to weigh and to measure and to classify. Self-esteem means how you weigh, how you measure, and how you classify yourself. If you don't think you can do it, you can't do it. Simple as that. And if you black and you think you can't do it, you think I can't do it either. So you ain't gonna help because I'm a nigga and I can't do it. That's what you think. So he can't do it. Only thing, just, I don't care how old or how young you are. You think about what they told us that we couldn't do. Well, when I was coming up, I want to be an airplane pilot. White man ain't gonna let you, I don't know if y'all remember that talk. White man ain't gonna let you fly in an airplane. Right? I want to be a scientist. I want to be an engineer. White man ain't gonna let you be no engineer. Y'all remember? Does anybody remember that talk? That was the talk. White man ain't gonna let you be no engineer. The white man, you don't ever hear white folks say, niggas ain't gonna let you make no car. Niggas ain't gonna let you, right? They don't even think like that. We still think like that. Self-esteem, self-determination, that means you determine where you're going on your own. You don't have self-determination because without self-esteem, how you weigh and how you measure yourself. We ain't going into global redesign, but we don't like the world. If it's a book you want to read, you're going to write the book. You write it yourself. If it's a book you want to read, if it's a movie you want to see, man, I want to see this kind of movie. Well, make it. Anything you want, do it yourself. Leave your own fingerprints. Where? On the pages of history. And the last thing, this is definitely the last thing, well, close to the last thing, is healers. America needs healing. Every kind of healing that a patient needs. Now, Islam is what? The Quran is As-Shifa. As-Shifa, it's a healing, it's a medicine. It's a rahmah. Isn't that right? The Quran says it's a hidayah. So everything is guidance, that is. Everything that America needs, we have it. Let's call it Islam night. I'm not talking light. I'm not talking about them people running around with short pants, talking about looking all mean at everybody. Islam light, where it's kind of easy going and you want people to improve their behavior, pray, you know what I mean? But don't stand in the backyard counting their prayers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And having a vision about family and humanity, all those things, that's right there in the Quran. It's As-Shifa. It says it's a healing and a mercy for all the diseases of the heart. Isn't that right? The Quran is a healing and a medicine for everything. So we got to get it to the American people. We got to get it to them in a good way, in a way that they can understand it. Okay, if America's, and the last thing is about a healer. A healer, suppose you go to the doctor, you got a broken arm. Doc, I need my arm. You damn fool. How'd you break your arm? You ain't got no sense. What? You was climbing the mountain. You ain't got no sense to have a rope. He blaming the patient. Doctor got a little lung stuff, cancer, maybe. Why, you damn fool. You been smoking cigarettes. Didn't you read the warning? You come in here, you want me to fix you? And you ain't got enough sense to read? Right? Just imagine a doctor talking to you like that. Doc, I just got come for help, man. You know, I already know what happened, you know. You ought to know better. The same thing with the people. Nigga, you ought to know better. You was a damn fool. listen to this white man. On and on, right? You're right, of course, but that ain't gonna get the job done, right? So a healer is a healer of the heart, the mind, the body, and the spirit. And your healer is the Quran, the book of Allah. Kulu kali hada, wastaghfirullah, li wa lakum. We come to sit up.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة وحي على الفلاح